Veterans Day 2023. It's a time to honor servicemen and women who are still with us. The number of those who served in World War II are dwindling. Now only slightly more than 100,000 of 16 million veterans from that war are still alive. Well, joining us to pay tribute to and recognize our veterans and to discuss how his organization is helping them is our friend Michael Reagan, son of America's 40th president and president of the Reagan Legacy Foundation. Michael, your dad was a World War II veteran, so was mine. So what set them apart from today's veterans? Anything? How were they any different?
I don't think they were different at all. I mean, they saved the world. This issue you talk about my dad being a veteran. I mean, this is a man who wanted to be in the Army so badly that he went out and he memorized all the eye charts because he was legally blind without his glasses. And so when he went in for his eye exam to join the Army, he had it memorized, and they would say, read line 3, and he'd just say whatever line 3 was. And that's how he got in the Army. Ended up retiring as a captain in the Army. Came out of nowhere, and ended up becoming president of the United States of America. But he honored those veterans from his era, especially at Normandy, France, back in 1984, when he was the first president to, in fact, speak at Normandy, France on D-Day. And every president, except for Biden, he's got another shot at, has spoken on D-Day at Normandy, France.
We often talk about the negatives, Michael, but a lot of good things are happening as well. And I'm sure you've seen many positives from veterans that you've met. Tell us about some of them.
Well, I mean, the veterans, when I've been to Normandy, France on D-Day, and I've been there a couple of times, to be able to talk to these people who never patted themselves on the back. They always pointed at someone else and always gave credit to others. And it went so far when they did that, to be able to sit there, have them talk about others who were in the same boat as they were. The young man who jumped out of a plane on D-Day morning, who at 97 years old jumped out of a plane on D-Day a few years ago, tandem with another jumper. And they asked him when he got to the ground, how was that? He said, a lot better than last time. They were shooting at me. So, they have a great sense of humor. Many of them, they don't talk much about it, but you know what they went through just going there. And so what I do through the Reagan Legacy Foundation, I've done for years, is a project I have at Normandy, France, which is on hold right now because they're redoing it for the 80th anniversary of D-Day coming up next June. And so we're really concentrating right now on the kids that are serving at this point in time, the next veterans, if you will, serving aboard the USS Ronald Reagan. And so we have a scholarship program we started years ago where we provide scholarships not only to men and women who serve on the Reagan, but we provide scholarships to their family members at home who are trying to better their education and make their lives better at the same time. And we've been doing that for a few years. And not only the kids on the ship love it, but the family members, when they get a check from us, helping them with their education, they're over the moon about it. So we're really promoting that right now. And you can go to ReaganLegacyFoundation.org. You can make a donation to us. And the money goes to USS Ronald Reagan Scholarship Fund. And it just really helps those kids who right now, the ship is stationed out of Tokyo, Japan. But when you hear about the 7th Fleet, the USS Ronald Reagan is the aircraft carrier in charge of the 7th Fleet. She's the one out there in the South China Sea. She's the one between China, North Korea, and Taiwan.
And I'm sure you have some success stories from some of those scholarship award winners. Do you have one you'd like to share?
Well, there was one a few years ago, and I love telling the story about the young man who came to the United States as a baby, came over the border with his parents illegally, came in the United States of America. And when he turned 18, he wanted to thank the country who allowed him to become a citizen. So he became a citizen of the United States. And what did he do? He joined the Navy. He wanted to fight for America. And when the USS Ronald Reagan was commissioned and christened back in early 2000s, he wanted to serve on the ship with the name of the president who allowed him to become a citizen of the United States. And so over the years on the USS Ronald Reagan, he would mentor up to 75 soldiers on that ship to make them better sailors, make them better people, and give them better education. And I think there was 3 or 4 years that we sent him checks because of what he was doing. And you never hear that story about that side of the issue. You hear about the illegals coming across the border, which is outrageous. but there are illegals who have come across the border who have served in the military and helped this country like this young man did.
And you had mentioned the USS Ronald Reagan, and we know that the Eisenhower and the Gerald Ford are in the Middle East right now because of that war that's going on. A lot of war going on this Veterans Day. We're supporting the Ukrainians, the Israelis who are engaged in combat. How do you think your dad would have approached Israel's war with Hamas? Would he have been pushing for a pause or a ceasefire? And would he have handled Iran differently with its proxies who are targeting American servicemen?
I think my dad learned a lesson back in the 1980s when that same group killed 243, Marines there in Beirut, Lebanon. John McCain told him, don't go in there, it'd be trouble. He didn't listen to John McCain. 243 Marines died. He never forgot that. No, he would handle this much differently. I think if he were president, you would not have what's going on in Ukraine today. If he were president, there's a lot of things that would not be happening. America needs to be strong. And right now, America is not strong. And not only is America not strong, but you can't look around the world and see strength anywhere. There's no Lech Walesa, Václav Havel, Helmut Kohl, Maggie Thatcher, Pope John Paul II. And that's what concerns me about what's going on in America today. But would he handle things differently? Absolutely, he would handle things differently. And I think there's a lot of things that would not be happening if America were strong. But America is weak.
Yeah, instead you've got Putin and Kim and the Ayatollah and President Xi. Finally, you've told us in the past that honoring veterans should not be just one day out of the year, but every day. So what's the best thing, Michael, we can do for our veterans?
Honor them every day. When you see one, say thank you. When you see they wear caps, so you kind of know who it is and what have you. Thank them. But here's another way to thank those veterans of yesterday and the ones now who are retiring or moving from one position to another position. If you're flying on a plane and you're in first class or business, you got a good seat, you see them come on in uniform, you know what you do? You get up, give them your seat, and sit wherever their seat was. Exchange seats with them and say thank you. You will not believe the applause you will get from everybody on the plane. It's a great way to easily honor a vet or someone who's serving today in the military and say thank you.
Or maybe paying their dinner when you see them at a restaurant. Pay it forward. Okay.
Another way to do it.
Michael Reagan, we appreciate you. You're president of the Reagan Legacy Foundation. Thanks for taking the time to join us to honor our veterans on this Veterans Day. We appreciate it. God bless you.
Thank you. ReaganLegacyFoundation.org.